Hey everyone. So for this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to expand a hard drive in Hyper-V. And we're going to use one of our servers, the server 2012 that I've been working on. So the first thing we need to do is open up Hyper-V. So I'm going to go down to the start square, click on that, and start typing Hyper-V, and click on Hyper-V Manager. So let me go into the server and just look and see what size. I think this was a 100 gig hard drive here. So let me connect up to it and sign in. Make this a little smaller here. All right, so I'll just open up the Windows Explorer down here at the bottom. I'll click on that folder. All right, and you can see the C drive here is 100 gigs. So it's got 99.4, so pretty close to 100 gigs there. So let's just minimize this for a second. All right, so in Hyper-V here, you can see, since I've got this machine highlighted, it's got an automatic checkpoint that Hyper-V does sometimes. So if you click down here in the checkpoint, you can right click on it and say delete checkpoint. So we want to go ahead and get rid of all the checkpoints because you can't actually before I delete it, let me show you that. If you went and right click and hit settings and you go look at the hard drive here, here's your server hard drive. If I try to hit the edit button, it's grayed out. That's because of that checkpoint. It tells you edit is not available because checkpoints exist. So let me go back to this, click on that checkpoint, right click and say delete checkpoint. Are you sure? Yep, go ahead and delete it. All right, so now we have no checkpoints. So let's go back to the machine here, right click on this and say settings. And then we can click on this hard drive here. And so you can see now the edit button is not grayed out anymore. So let's go ahead and hit that edit button and it'll bring us to this hard drive wizard. So we'll go ahead and click next on this first page that asks where it's located, and because we know where it is, and it gives us the option, what do you want to do to this hard disk? So we want to go ahead and expand it. So we'll say next. And right now, it is at 100 gigs. So we'll go ahead and bump it up to 150 gigs. Hit next. And then it'll give us a little, summary of what it's going to do. It's going to take that VHDX and expand it. So we'll hit the finish button. All right, so now we've got it up to 150 gigs, but we're not done quite yet. So let's hit OK, and let's go back into the machine. I'm going to right click and connect here. So if you look back on this server, Windows Explorer here, we're still at 100 gigs. So it's not, if I refresh, it's still 100 gigs. So what we have to do is we also have to expand it in the operating system, not just in Hyper-V. So if you go down to the start square here and you right click and say disk management and pick that one and open that up, you can see here in disk management that it shows that 50 gigs behind the 100 gigs on here, but it actually hasn't been allocated yet. So what we have to do is click into this 100 gig C drive partition and then right click on that and say extend volume, and then it'll bring up this extend volume wizard, and we can hit next, and it says, all right, you can only extend for whatever it shown. So it's got the extra 50 gigs on here, so that's what we want to add to it. So we'll say next, and it says, all right, you've selected the following disk 0. You want to add this 50 gigs to it. Hit finish. And so now you can see the C drive shows 149 gigs. It's rounding because of the 1024 versus 1000 count. But all right, so let's close out disk management. And then if I refresh this time, you can see, boom, now I have 140 gigs free out of 150, so 149. So that's it. So that's how they extend the disk on a server when you're using Hyper-V. Thanks a lot.